Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Ready for another fascinating deep dive with me?
Absolutely. Always excited to learn something new.
Well, today we're going to be looking at how to find balance and happiness.
Ah, a topic that's close to everyone's hearts.
Isn't it, though? And we're getting insights from a pretty remarkable person, a doctor, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and artist.
All in one. That's amazing.
It is. I mean, she even manages multiple businesses, is deeply involved in charity work, and oh yeah, she's raising a family too.
Wow, talk about wearing multiple hats.
Seriously. I can barely keep up with my laundry. But one of the things that really stood out to me was this idea of positive reframing.
Positive reframing.
Yeah, so like instead of saying, I have to go to work, you say, I get to go to work.
Oh, I see. Kind of shifting your perspective on things.
Exactly. It's such a simple tweak, but it can completely change your outlook on those everyday tasks.
That's so true. It's like choosing to see the opportunity in things rather than the burden.
And this positive approach isn't just for everyday stuff. She even applies it to challenges.
How so?
Well, instead of getting overwhelmed by emotions, she approaches problems in a very calm and analytical way.
Interesting.
It's like a doctor diagnosing a patient.
Hmm.
Figure out what's wrong, and then determine the steps to fix it.
Makes sense. So it's all about staying focused on solutions rather than getting bogged down by the problem itself.
Exactly. And she's a big believer in self-care, too.
Self-care, yeah, that's so important, but it's often the first thing to go when we're busy, right?
Totally. But she emphasizes that it's not about pampering yourself. It's about having those non-negotiables for your well-being.
Non-negotiables.
Yeah, like making sure you get enough sleep, eating healthy, staying hydrated, and getting at least 30 minutes of exercise every day.
Those are good ones.
And you know what's interesting? She believes that when you take care of yourself, it creates this positive ripple effect across your entire life.
Really?
Yeah, everything from your work performance to your relationships.
Makes sense. You're in a better place to show up for others when you've taken care of yourself first.
Absolutely. So, with all these different roles, businesswoman, wife, mother, philanthropist, how does she actually manage her time?
Right. How does she do it all without losing her mind?
Well, she's a big believer in meticulous time management, like really organized and scheduled.
Oh, I see.
She also has a strong and empowered team that she trusts to handle things.
That's so important.
And she's very intentional about separating work time from family time.
Yeah, that work-life balance can be tricky.
Totally. But she's figured out how to really focus on whatever she's doing at that moment. Whether it's mom mode or CEO mode, she's all in.
I like that. Being present in each role.
Now, things get really interesting when we start talking about her views on money and happiness.
Oh, how so?
Well, get this, she almost became a monk at one point in her life.
A monk. Wow. That's pretty different from the business world she's in now.
I know. But it shows that for her, it's not all about the money. She's really trying to find deeper meaning and purpose beyond material wealth.
Makes you think about what truly matters, doesn't it?
It does. And she even told this amazing story about a saint who taught a powerful lesson about judging people based on appearances.
Ooh, I love a good story. Tell me more.
So this highly respected saint was invited to a grand feast hosted by a king. But when he arrived at the palace, the guards didn't recognize him.
Oh no, why not?
Well, he was dressed in simple clothes, and they just saw him as an ordinary person, so they turned him away.
How embarrassing.
Right. But the saint, he didn't get upset. He just went back home, put on his finest robes, and returned to the palace.
Ah, I see.
Of course, this time, he was welcomed with open arms. But then, during the feast, he started doing something really strange.
What? What did he do?
He started stuffing food into his pockets and robes, like he was hoarding it.
That is strange. Why would he do that?
Well, the king and all the guests were completely baffled. So finally, the king asked him why he was behaving so oddly.
And what did he say?
The saint simply replied, "It wasn't me who was invited, it was my robes."
Wow. That's a powerful message. He was making a point about how easily we can be fooled by outward appearances.
Exactly. And she connected this story back to her belief that we should focus on cultivating inner wealth and using our resources to help others.
I see. It's about going beyond those superficial things and finding true value in things like kindness, compassion, and generosity.
And it makes sense considering her own journey. I mean, she almost dedicated her life to a spiritual path. So those values are clearly at the core of who she is.
That's really inspiring.
And speaking of values, she also really emphasizes the importance of relationships, both in our personal and professional lives.
Relationships are so important.
They are. And she believes that strong connections and clear communication are key ingredients for success in any area of life.
Couldn't agree more.
And she's learned a lot about this from observing successful leaders, especially those in her own family, who have always prioritized nurturing relationships with everyone.
Ah, so it's like leading by example, showing the importance of those connections through their actions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now I know some of you might be thinking, okay, but doesn't she ever face challenges?
Right. No one can be positive all the time, surely.
Of course not. But her approach to challenges is really interesting. She has this powerful analogy she uses.
What's that?
She compares facing challenges to a bison in a snowstorm.
A bison in a snowstorm.
Yeah. She explained that when a blizzard hits, bison charge directly into it
Why would they do that?
because they instinctively know that facing the storm head-on is the fastest way to get through it.
Oh, I get it. So instead of avoiding challenges, she tackles them directly with that same kind of energy and determination.
Exactly. It's about being proactive and courageous in the face of adversity.
That's such a great analogy, and I think it applies to so many areas of life. It's easy to shy away from difficult things, but sometimes the best way forward is to face them head on.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like she embodies that philosophy in everything she does.
She does. And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to learn from her.
There is.
Well, I can't wait to hear more.
Me too.
So last time we were talking about this incredible woman and how she manages to balance a seriously busy life while still finding happiness.
I know, it's amazing, right? Like, she's a doctor, philanthropist, entrepreneur, artist, all while raising a family. Talk about a superhero.
Totally. And we were just getting to the part where she shared some of her practical tips for well-being.
Oh, yeah. So let's pick up right there. What does she do to actually stay balanced and happy amidst all the chaos?
Well, for one, she's a huge advocate for staying active.
That's hitting the gym every day.
Not necessarily. She emphasizes that it doesn't have to be some big, intense workout. Even something as simple as a 30-minute brisk walk can make a difference.
That's good to hear. I can definitely manage a walk.
Right. It's all about finding those small, sustainable changes that you can stick with.
And it sounds like those small changes really add up for her.
They do. And it's not just about exercise either. She also stresses the importance of good sleep, hydration, and proper nutrition.
Makes sense. Fueling your body and mind so you can function at your best.
Exactly. And of course, she also talks about the importance of spending quality time with loved ones.
Ah, yes. Nurturing those relationships is key.
Absolutely. She really believes in being present and engaged with the people you care about, whether it's family, friends, colleagues, making those connections a priority.
Now, I'm curious, how happy would you say she is on a scale of 0 to 10?
She consistently says 10 and above.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. I mean, obviously she has her off days like anyone else, but her overall outlook on life is so positive.
I guess that's part of what makes her so successful. She doesn't let challenges get her down.
Right. Remember that proactive, solution-oriented mindset we talked about earlier? She uses that to navigate any difficulties that come her way.
So it's not that she avoids problems, it's that she approaches them with this incredible sense of optimism and resourcefulness.
Exactly. And it's so inspiring to see someone who's achieved so much while still maintaining that balanced and joyful perspective.
And speaking of inspiring, remember how we mentioned that she almost became a monk?
Oh, yeah. That was fascinating.
Well, it turns out that desire to help others is still a huge driving force in her life.
In what way?
Well, she shared this dream that she's actually working towards, building a school for underprivileged children.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is.
Right. It really speaks to her character and her commitment to making a difference in the world.
It does. It shows that success for her isn't just about personal gain. It's about using her resources and influence to create positive change.
Absolutely. And she also shared some really valuable insights on leadership and teamwork.
Oh, I'd love to hear about that. I'm always looking for ways to improve my leadership skills.
Well, she emphasized the importance of open communication, respect, and empowering your team members.
So it's not about being the boss and barking orders.
Definitely not. She believes that a strong leader is someone who can nurture the talents of their team and bring out the best in each individual.
That makes sense. It's about creating a collaborative and supportive environment where everyone feels valued and empowered.
Exactly. And she stressed that this applies not just in professional settings, but to all relationships in life.
Oh, that's a good point. So whether you're leading a team at work or simply interacting with friends and family, those same principles apply.
Absolutely. It's about treating everyone with respect and communicating in a way that builds trust and understanding.
Those are such important qualities to cultivate in any relationship.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. From the power of positive reframing to the importance of self-care, balancing multiple roles, and finding happiness beyond material wealth. But I want to leave you with one final thought from her. She shared this powerful message about embracing challenges and not shying away from them.
Yes. Remember that bison analogy? It's about having the courage and determination to face those obstacles head on.
Exactly. And she reminds us that we all have the power to choose how we react to challenges.
We can either let them overwhelm us, or we can use them as opportunities for growth and learning.
And she encouraged us to remember that even in the midst of challenges, there's always something to be grateful for.
That's so true. It's about cultivating that mindset of gratitude and appreciating the good things in our lives, no matter how small they may seem.
She also stressed the importance of being kind to ourselves, especially when we're going through a tough time.
Self-compassion is key. We tend to be so hard on ourselves, but she emphasizes that giving ourselves grace and understanding is crucial for navigating challenges and maintaining a positive outlook.
It's about recognizing that we're all doing the best we can with what we have.
And that it's okay to not be perfect all the time.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive into happiness and balance, I want to leave you with a few key takeaways.
Okay, what are they?
First, perspective is everything. We can choose to focus on the positive even when things are tough.
Second, self-care is essential. It's not selfish. It's about taking care of yourself so you can show up for others in a meaningful way.
Third, strong relationships and effective communication are key ingredients for success in all areas of life.
And fourth, true happiness comes from finding meaning and purpose beyond just material wealth.
And finally, embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Remember that bison charging into the snowstorm?
It's about facing your difficulties head-on and knowing that you'll come out stronger on the other side.
So what does all this mean for you, dear listener? How can you apply these insights to your own life? What small change can you make today to bring more balance and happiness into your world?
It's time to take action and create that fulfilling life you deserve.
Okay, so before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier. You know how she said that charity is actually a selfish act?
Oh, yeah, that really got me thinking.
Right. It sounds kind of strange at first, but her point was that helping others actually makes us feel good.
Yeah, it's like that warm, fuzzy feeling you get when you do something nice for someone.
Exactly. So it's not about depriving yourself or making sacrifices. It's about tapping into that sense of joy and fulfillment that comes from making a difference.
And she actually encourages us to embrace that selfishness.
Because it's a win-win situation. We experience the happiness that comes from giving, and the people we help benefit from our generosity.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Totally. It's a beautiful way to reframe our thinking about giving back. It's not about obligation or guilt. It's about aligning our actions with our values and finding that sweet spot where personal fulfillment meets positive impact.
It's about recognizing that we can actually do good while feeling good at the same time.
And I think it ties back to her overall message about finding happiness through purpose and connection. It's not about accumulating wealth or possessions. It's about living a life that feels meaningful and aligned with your deepest values.
And she's a living example of that. She's achieved incredible success in the business world, but she still prioritizes philanthropy and her family.
She's walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. And that's what makes her insights so powerful. She's living proof that you can find balance and happiness even in a fast-paced, demanding world.
Well, there you have it, folks. We've taken a deep dive into the wisdom of someone who seems to have cracked the code to a truly fulfilling life.
We've covered so much ground today.
From the importance of positive reframing and self-care to the power of strong relationships and finding purpose beyond just material wealth.
And of course, that amazing bison analogy.
Yes, don't forget the bison.
But now we want to hear from you. What resonated with you most from this episode? What's one small change you can make today to bring more balance and happiness into your own life?
Share your thoughts with us on social media or drop us a line on our website. We can't wait to hear what you come up with.
And until next time, keep diving deep and keep those positive vibes flowing.
See you next time, everyone.